Hey, so Frederick, sorry, can you
Yeah,
repeat your
sorry.
question?
I said, I just learned from Dan that he's using two different devices sometimes to listen to harmonic boost and meditation at the same time. And I had previously thought, which one should I use? But I like the idea of doing both at the same time.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
just wondering if that's something that you would advise or advise against.
Well, if you want to do that, you have to export the harmonic boost on a MP3, for instance.
Right.
Yes, and play it through anything else. It can be another device, or it can be a transducer if you want to play it. For instance, with Dan Winter's device, you can transform it into
Right.
electromagnetic appliances on the body.
That's
Or you
it.
can play it through what Dan is currently
The
showing.
plasma
Yeah,
fire.
the plasma balls.
Okay, but it's okay to do both at the same time.
Yeah, sure. That's what
Yep.
happened.
Okay.
It's what happens in the meditation, and it's already included in the meditation. But when you do it with a personal guide, so during the meditation, it's much lower in your ears, so that it's not too invasive in your ears, and you have space to listen to the voice and to have room for the
Hmm.
meditation and so on. And you don't need such a strong impulse during the meditation because, sorry, I will. Maybe it's done. I don't know. During the meditation, you don't need such a strong impulse as during the harmonic boost, uh, because you are focused in your own bubble, and it just comes as a soft impulse for you. But
Okay.
if you do just the harmonic boost, at that point, it's the harmonics are played at maximum volume so that you can maybe feed it to the plasma balls or feed it to any kind of device. So yes, you can definitely play both at once. The only thing is that if you play only the harmonic, the personal guide, the relevant frequencies are played at the relevant times with the same voices and so on. Whereas if you export it, it will play at a different time, but it will still be part of your program. So it will still be bioactive frequencies that are deemed beneficial to you. So it's fine. Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Mm.
Well,
Dan is ahead of the curve.
I just can you hear me?
Yes, sure.
Well, I'm just, the plasma fire interests me, or any type of plasma device, or the coils interest me because if I use the piezo fire discs, that's like speakers. But when I
Yeah.
use plasma, it's photons and it's at the frequency. And even though we sing the body electric, the communication with our nerves is photonic.
Yeah,
So
I think all of these are different channels to convey the
yes,
information and the energy. So it's fine. It's fine. If whatever works for you, I would say. Mm.
I'm just I'm just testing, I'm
Yeah,
testing
yeah,
it
sure.
out. I want to use this in case, I also have tinnitus. And so some of the frequencies in the harmonic boost, when I put that, it can be uncomfortable. I won't say painful, but uncomfortable listening to those frequencies when
Okay.
it hits tones that my tinnitus is that's sensitive to.
Mm.
So that's why I find photonics also, it's just when you fill the room up with the plasma, the photons, it's like a fish tank. It's just automatically, you know, relaxing, peaceful.
Okay, great. Yeah. If it works for you, it's perfectly fine. It's just a different way to feed the frequencies to your body. So why not? Mm.
The
Sure.
other aspect of it we were discussing a few minutes ago was sort of the analogy of taking different dosages of a medication. If you take 20 milligrams or 200 milligrams or 2000, that would be the same good thing, but depending on the dosage, it has a different effect. So that would apply to maybe the amplitude of frequency. So you're
Yes
feeding
and
us a
no.
certain amplitude. So
Yeah.
that's my question is it affected by the volume or the amplitude of the frequency, even though it's the right frequency, it may not be reaching a threshold where it affects the body. That's sort of my question.
Yeah, I don't think so, for several reasons. One is when you apply something through the resonance effect, you can apply a very, very small amount of force repeatedly at the same frequency, and you will get a huge effect. So if you use yeah.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. I have to go into the doctor's office. We were
Yeah,
there.
okay, no problem. No problem.
Check out. Thank you. See you later. Bye.
Yeah, see you later.
Well, all right.
So I just
All right. Maybe you can sit here. So I think
I just cut your sound. Yeah, okay, fine. So the first answer is that when you use the resonance effect, you can really use a very, very tiny amount of energy repeatedly at the proper frequency. It will create a big effect. So whatever the medium, it can be light, it can be sound, and so on. The other answer, and that's something that we found only last week with Christine when discussing, is that we don't. When you use a drug, you take a certain amount of molecules, and these molecules must be bound to other specific molecules in the body to have an effect. So you have to take a certain quantity to have a bioactive effect, because it will bound to a lot of receptors, you know. And if you take too much, it can just overload your system and block everything. And sometimes it's the very mode of action of the drug to block things. So you have to take a certain amount of this drug to block a lot of receptors, to, for instance, block pain or block, I don't know, something it has effects on. It is not how frequencies work, and especially how our bioactive frequencies work. And the best analogy we found is that what we are doing is we are recreating links, and we are re-enabling communication between systems. And you cannot just have too many links. You just reopen the communication, but you cannot open too much communication. You know, you just open the communication, and when it's communicating, then it's fine. If it's not communicating, the processes are blocked in your system. So that has two consequences. One is that if a channel is already open and you just stimulate it through specific frequencies to open it, it will not just open too much, you know, it will just do nothing. So it means that if you apply a frequency for restoring a certain communication system and it's already communicating well, okay, no problem. Nothing will happen. So you cannot overload the system by just putting too much communication in it. You just plug the network plug back, you know. So you cannot just plug too much network plugs. Once you are connected to internet, you are connected. You cannot be too much connected to internet, you know. And so the other consequence is you cannot overload it, and you cannot harm a system that is already working well, even if you apply the frequency. So the other analogy is that you are working on a crank to start the engine. Okay, so if you have a plane, for instance, an old plane, you have to go and just start the helix. Is that a helix? I'm not. Yeah. Yeah, so to start the engine, if you have a very, very old car, you have a crank in front of it, and you have to just give a little amount of turns to start it. But if it's already started and you want to start it, it will not overstart, you know? It will just do nothing, as if you didn't do it. You just didn't need to do it. But say you were not aware that the engine was on, and you go and you give a little bit of cranks. Okay, the car will work. It worked before, but you didn't know. But it will work after the same way. So you will not overload it, or you will not damage it by just trying to start it again. So I think it's a good analogy to understand how frequencies work in our biological system. You can feed frequencies that is not needed, and it won't have any particularly good or bad outcome, because everything is already fine. But if you feed a frequency that is really needed because the system is closed, or because the communication is not working properly, at that point it will have a dramatic effect. Mm. Dan, Your mic is off.
One thing I'd like to say is, can you hear I have soft music in the background in the other room. Can you hear that?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Okay. So, the plasma fires, I put my hands on them, and if you put them up close, you can feel the energy, but it's really low. I mean, it's it's a magnetic field, but it's really weak, like, your headphones, you can turn the amplitude. I mean, it's even if I turn the volume up on the player, whatever I'm playing it on. Right now I happen to just be playing it on my iPad, but you know, it's I don't know. I don't think I'm overstraining or I'm not. The amplitude of the magnetic frequency coming out to my body right now it's so minute. I mean, it's stronger than little teeny tiny, or maybe not stronger than these, but it's stronger than the earbuds, but it's not much stronger.
Yeah, I think you could play the frequencies at the limit of hearing audition, very very low, and it would have the same effect. And by the way, I think you could also play it with the player in your pocket and almost not hear them, and it would be received by your system somehow because the acoustic or electromagnetic vibration that is made in your pocket, even if it's not in your ears, would be felt by your body. So you don't need to blast frequencies very strongly and so on. It's just something that you can play very very low, and it's somehow how we design the meditations with the frequencies really in the background, and still maybe it's still a bit too high. So it could be very low. It can be very low.
Well, I have tinnitus, and certain frequencies, whether it's harmonic boost or the flame, the other software, Dan Winter's software, there's certain frequencies. Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt, but it's very uncomfortable when those frequencies come up. And so, like I say, that's when I normally switch to that's why I switch to plasma, because it's I get the same benefit, but I don't get the discomfort in my ears, my sensory perception.
Mhm.
Auditory, I should say, sensory perception.
Okay, so yes, the good conclusion is that you can use any kind of transducer that is useful to you and use the same frequencies, and you will probably get the same effects.
One thing that was brought up earlier before we started recording was what was talked about last week, and Frederick's not here, but of the like with the frequencies for the eye basic, for my eyes, they're starting to slide back to 2060.
What do you mean?
And I think it was similar to Stephen's mother. I'm having a similar effect that Laura was kind enough to help explain to us about what was going on.
Yeah, I think if you go to the gym and you make a lot of push-ups and you suddenly gain a lot of muscles and you say, oh, it's cool, I have a lot of muscles, and you just stop doing anything, your muscles won't stay. You have to train your system into something new. So that's why we do it on at least 3 weeks. But I'm not sure we can definitely fix your eyes in just 3 weeks, and probably definitely not in only one session, so I don't know how long you did the eye exercises, but I would
Well,
I would say for something as important as your eyes, you can devote a little bit more time to it.
well, right now I'm doing it 3 to 4 times a week. I don't do it every day.
Okay.
But I do the meditations, the 21 day, and I just started it over again because the bugs for, at least on my PC, the bugs in the meditation where it was literally it was closing down. BioCoherence was closing itself down.
Yeah, we're working on the bugs. I know there are still some bugs, and I'm sorry for that. But I don't have a lot of new features to show you this week because we worked actively on cleaning all the bugs and chasing them one by one. So because we don't want bugs anymore.
Well, you've got a lot more people on a lot more devices, and we're starting to really hammer down on it, which is good. but
Yeah.
there's only one of you.
No, it's good. It's
many
good.
of
It's
us.
just crazy that we manage 6 different platforms and so many functions. So of course we have bugs, but less and less. And by the way, we will have even more problems because we just finished implementing 20 languages, which means that we will have even more users and feedback, which is a good thing. Just for you to know that if you go to, sorry, up. If you go to the website, I will put it in English. So the website is just in English and French for now, the public website, I mean. But if you go to, sorry, if you go to Discover, and you have here the PDF manuals and the books and the tutorials, and now everything is in, not the books, but all of this is in 20 languages. 20 languages. So if you go to PDF manual, you have English, French, Korean, Spanish, Deutsch, but now you have Polski, Polish, but now you have Hindi, Arabic, Chinese, Dutch, Norwegian, Portuguese, Swedish, Hungarian, Danish. That's a bug. 2 times Hungarian, 1 is not. Japanese, Italian, Turkish, Ukrainian. Which one is that?
Could I ask a question? And I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm on and I'm in. It says I have pro version, but I can't get to that page. It says I don't have permission to be there. Do I need to reinstall
what on biocoherence.net/pdf
update
on the manual? You are on the manual page.
I'm on biocoherence.net. Oh, well, I just clicked over to price to see what that would do, but
okay, to price.
Because I didn't get to see Discover. When you clicked on Discover, I didn't get to see that.
Okay, so let's go back. So you are on the biocoherence here, and you click on Discover here.
I am going to click back to the home page.
No, because you are logged in. Sorry.
What?
Because when you are logged in, it says tutorials, I think.
It says I'm logged in.
Yes, but you should have something here like tutorial.
I do have tutorials.
Yeah. Okay. So click on tutorials, and now you should have PDF manual here.
Okay, videos and user manual. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Mine
And so you
doesn't
have
say the
PDF
same
manual,
thing.
and you have all the manuals here. So this one is incredible. And by the way, we had to manage writing right to left, which is painful in the application. It was long. So we have a lot of languages, and everything in the application is translated. The manuals are entirely translated, and we should have the books in all languages soon. Where is it? One of this is not. Yes, this one is for Anton. This is Croatian. So it's not Hungarian.
Anton is not here.
Anton is not here? Okay, so he'll see it.
The one day.
And we have published another book, I think, the German one. The Spanish one, yes, the Spanish one is live. So again, if you go back here, it will be available as soon as the new books are published. But if you go to books, you can find the English, French, German, and now Spanish. And you can find Christine's book in English and French. So all these links are the links to the different Amazon marketplaces. So you just choose the closest one to your country if you want to buy it. Regarding this book, Think the Body Electric, if you order the book as a distributor, we will send books, as many books as sensors that you order as a courtesy, so that you have the books in inventory with your devices, and you can give the books with devices to your customers or use them as a discovery way because the books contains almost everything. Magnus, I see you are here, so it's available in Norwegian. I think it's Norwegian. I hope it's Norwegian.
When I go to Amazon, and
Yes,
I see
Norway.
right now
Yeah.
it's March
Okay,
25th,
so
but when I go to Amazon,
so just to finish, Magnus, if you can confirm us that the Norwegian version is readable, it would be fine.
Yeah, I confirm it's readable.
Okay,
It's
great.
Norwegian. Yeah, thank you.
Great. And in the next update, it will be also in Norwegian in the app.
so what I was going to say from Amazon, it's showing edition 1. It doesn't say, is it still edition 1, or it doesn't say revised for the book, Sing Body Electric.
Oh, it is revised. It says yes, it's still I did not update the edition number. Is there an edition number? Edition 1. Where do you see edition 1?
Let me just go to Amazon.
I am on Amazon. Where does it say edition 1? No, it just says that it has been published on October 7, but it's in fact the updated version. When I update it, it doesn't change the publication date.
It just says October 7th, 2024.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. It doesn't change the date because it's the date of first publication, but it has been updated.
Okay. That was my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you can leave a comment if you want on Amazon. Okay. Just one thing I wanted to show you in the app. It would be maybe on the mobile. Okay, let me just switch camera. And use the app here. So how do you do that? Okay, great. So just one thing I want to show you. So you see the screen on the phone. So when you are, do you see the screen on the phone? Is it okay? Yes. Okay. So when you manage a user here, you click on it and you have about a change. If you click on about, you will go on the information page of this user, and now you have the possibility to buy directly a subscription for the client. So if you want to, if you have the client and you just create his account and make the recording and so on, then you can just buy a subscription for him, and you click on Me Play, for instance, for 1 month, and it will tell you how much you pay for it, what is your rebate, and what is the normal price. And if you confirm it, that's done. Okay, so in 2 clicks, you can just buy a subscription for your client and take the money for the subscription while he is here, and it's just activated for him. So you can buy it for 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months directly in 1 click. So this is something that you wanted. We spoke about it last week. Okay. So it's now down and it's working fine. Another thing is that you can, sorry, I have to go and, oh yes, okay, it works. So when you have a subscription that is not managed by Apple, you can now see it here. When you go to the subscription menu, and you can see what is your current subscription, until when, and you can directly show your invoice or manage your subscription. And if you manage the subscription, you can it's not finished here, as you can see, but you can modify the renewal or modify the subscription directly from here. So I should show it from a computer, but in the next version, it will be entirely finished, and you will be able to just switch subscription or manage your renewal and so on directly from this page. But I think the most interesting thing is to be able to give out a subscription directly to your clients during the appointment. We had this discussion last week, Dan, about being able to have him test the thing before you give the subscription and so on. And frankly, it's way too complicated to manage. So you will have to either he's installing the app while he's in the appointment with you and you see everything is okay. And at that point you say, okay, give me the money for the subscription and I will activate it for you. Or you will have to send us an email and say, okay, the customer has too much problem and it doesn't work. And at that point, we will just cancel the subscription. But doing a very complicated system where you could give the subscription a few days after that, and what do you do? Because you don't have the whole point of it is that you can activate it and it gives you the money directly. So if he has to call you 5 days after that and to say, okay, now I am ready to take the subscription, how do I pay you? It's more a problem than a solution. So if you really want to do that, don't give him a subscription and say, okay, install it. And if you are okay, you will pay in 5 days. And at that point, he could just pay by in-app purchase directly in the app. But this method is made for you to take the money of the subscription and pay it with a discount and directly activate it. So everything is fine for the customer and it doesn't have to interact with us at all.
So that subscription is for 1 month?
It could be for 1 month, but we have also created for 2 months and 3 months. We can create different subscriptions if you want. And we have also added a little view more button. I have to remove the subscription, exactly what I said. So let me just cancel the subscription and you can see it again. So to cancel the subscription, you cannot do it on the website. You have to ask us to cancel it. So you just open a ticket, for instance. It shouldn't be something that you do every day, of course.
What I wanted to ask is what happens after that month or 2 months expire?
He will have a message that the subscription is expired, and either he comes back to you because it's the time for his new appointment, or he can just subscribe through the app like any other user.
So he will be given the option to straight away subscribe?
Yes.
And that subscription will be considered in the system as to, I mean, in terms of distributor or affiliate, it will account for...
If you subscribe again, you will get a commission for that because you will be in your affiliate directly. And so this is an open system because now it comes from the back office, so we can create very easily other options here. But we have, I was just thinking, you can subscribe for 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. And if you click on Show More, you can also subscribe for Me Essential or Me Plus or Me Custom. Maybe it's just too much, you know. Maybe you as a practitioner, you don't want to give out 1 month or 2 months. So again, this is open for discussion. I don't want to overload you with too much possibilities. So maybe we will just discuss all together and say it's enough to have 1 month and 2 months, and maybe with the button Show More to have 3 months or 4 months, and that's all. And for the rest, the customer should be able to subscribe by themselves, and at that point, anyway, you would get a commission. So. The goal is to make your life simple, not to make your life complicated. So I don't want too much buttons, otherwise it becomes complicated again. Yes, Dan.
Yes.
So, and this is a great thing, and I'm glad for this feature. It was, I was just trying to, he was getting frustrated, Andrew was getting frustrated, and I didn't want to lose him. And especially since had paid for it and he was trying to even get somebody else. He was trying to actually do a scan for somebody to show them, and it just blew up. That's why that's why I gave him, let him the Pro. I charged him 160, but well,
Yes,
it's a long
don't worry
story.
for that because that's something I can also explain here. If you as a distributor you buy a sensor, I don't have an image. Okay. So if you have the distributor, you buy a sensor, you can buy it with a license. So either without license or with a Me license or with a Pro license. When you receive it with a sticker on it, and this sticker says it includes Me or it includes Pro for 1 month. But if you have a limited inventory and you need to switch the license, that is something that we can do from our side on the back office. And we can just change the license attributed to a sensor while it has not yet been activated. So for instance, in your case, you had a sensor with a Pro license attached, and you asked us to transfer this license to another device that was shipped to you. So we removed the Pro license attached to it so you can sell it at the price of a sensor without license. And we sent you another sensor without license that you bought at the price of a sensor without license, but now it is attached with a Pro license on it. And because you asked us that before we shipped it, we actually put the sticker with the Pro license on it. So you will get the same amount of devices that you paid. In fact, just one sensor has been exchanged with another license-wise.
Well, but my problem is I paid $380 US for the Pro license, and that's the one he got. So now I have somewhere out in the this
yes, but
is
you
one
paid,
of the
but you paid with us a sensor with Pro at the price of a sensor without license. So you are even.
well, I literally paid for the Pro license again, and I got one of those, and it shows on my invoice. But
No, you have two.
the one I got, I
You
no, I don't.
paid for one and you received two.
Well, okay, so if that's the case, the 3 boxes that I have do not have stickers on them. Only one has stickers with the Pro.
Okay, so we can check. We will check that just one by one. But in principle, that's something we can do. And I realize that there is also something we can. I'm not sure.
Well,
Switching
I'm sorry.
from Pro to Me is more complicated because the amounts do not go exactly the same. So, but what I mean is that as a distributor, if you have an inventory of sensors without license or sensors with Pro licenses, it could be adjusted at the time you already have the devices on your side. If you need to switch it because it's more convenient for a particular user and it's what you have in inventory. So if you have this kind of need, just contact us and we can just arrange things. And for your particular case, Dan, we will check together after the call, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, Tino?
Yes, I wanted to ask, I know you explained, but I've been trying the lists and I had trouble to remember or to understand the meaning. So if you could repeat it again. I mean, I was trying the list of vegetables with a patient, and I have trouble understanding the difference between the icons with the thumbs up and down and the percentages at the other side of each bar. Because sometimes they seem to be contradictory, that you have a positive, I mean, a green 153%, but then a thumbs down, opposite. And so,
So it's true that it's a bit complicated. And to be honest, I don't have a definitive answer about that. I will just explain the differences between the two results, and then you have to make your mind as a therapist or as a professional to interpret it case by case, I think. The percentage comes from what has been measured before doing the test during the recording, and what is the stated effect of each of these items. So, for instance, if you have an item that has the stated effect of giving more energy to the brain and giving less energy to the liver, for instance, if you have a very low energy brain and a very high energy liver, it will be high in the percentage because it will be calculated as very useful for you. Okay, but if you have a high brain energy and a low liver energy, it will be calculated with a very low percentage because you already have a high brain energy and a low liver energy. And this is the stated effect of this particular vegetable, for instance. So it is a purely mathematical calculation from what this vegetable should do theoretically to your system and what we have measured that your system needs. And so with that, we can compute this percentage and other items as the probably most interesting to the least interesting. But it is entirely theoretical. It means that if we say that this particular vegetable should enhance brain function and your brain function are low, it will be on top of the list because it's probably good for you. But the entire thing is the probably good for you, you know. This vegetable makes the effect of giving more energy to the brain, but it probably makes a lot of different effects too. And we cannot pre-compute all these effects because it's really something individual. And maybe you are allergic to this particular vegetable, we don't know, okay? So maybe it's something that will give more energy to your brain, but if you take it, it will just fuck up your gut, you know, because you are allergic to it. And that is something that is not pre-calculated. So when you have some very high percentages like that, it's something that is theoretically good for you. At that point, you just click on them to check them, and you will check them individually to see how your body reacts when it receives the information of this particular vegetable. So the test will start, and the test will play the frequencies of the systems, display the name, display the picture, and so on. And you, as a user, you will see this information and hear this information, and your body will react somehow. So your body will react exactly like a kinesiology test. You know, if you test your resistance like that, and if I give you this particular vegetable, maybe your resistance will just collapse because actually when you are in presence of this vegetable, your energy field will just collapse, okay? And maybe this vegetable is good for you, for your brain state, but it happens that your energy doesn't support the idea of getting this vegetable in your system. And this is the individual test. And this is why I designed it in two steps. One step is the theoretical response given from the analysis and the stated effect. And the second step is, okay, what is your body saying when we just say, okay, take this vegetable? And at that point, you have the sum up, which is, okay, you have a good resistance, or the sum down, which is, okay, your energy is collapsing when we are just floating around the idea of taking this vegetable. And so you get an individual answer that will give you an additional information. So now you, as a pro, you have to make a good decision between the two. And you can say, okay, it seems that this vegetable is actually decreasing your energy or making a strong response for you, but this strong response could also be interpreted in another way, like this seems to be useful, but maybe it's not the only thing that I need, or maybe it's not the first thing that I need, or maybe we need to make things differently and so on. So it's just another piece of information. But you, as a professional, you should take all these informations into account and make a decision from these different bits of information. But do you understand the theoretical part and the reaction part?
Yes, it's clear now. But let me ask you, for this specific example, the vegetables, if I am correct, it doesn't play any frequencies. It only displays the name or even a picture of the vegetable, and then it measures your reaction.
Okay, when it plays frequencies, anyway, it won't play the frequency of the vegetable. It will play the frequencies of the stimulated systems. So it might not play the frequency if we already have the information of the systems. It would play the frequency if we don't know how your brain state is, for instance. So if you start with a test, it should play the frequency, but if you already done the test, it will just display the picture and the name and so on. So we try to focus the information just on the vegetable, but we don't. When you do a list, you don't specify some specific frequencies for this vegetable. The frequency will come from the systems that are so the organs that are associated with the vegetable, for instance.
Okay. Clear now. Thank you.
Okay. But again, we don't present the actual frequency to the system. We just show a picture and a name. So it's also just information, you know. So it could be less robust than if you actually give the physical product to the people. It's just an informational test. So you also take it as an information, not as something that has been physically given to the people.
Well, I guess we could always, for a very specific case, let's say someone suspect is allergic to tomato, we could give them a tomato,
Sure. Yes.
have him hold it, and then
Yeah.
test them.
Yes.
Right?
Sure. Yeah.
That would make it much more
Probably yes.
viable. Okay.
I agree. Yes, Dan?
I have an allergy to bell peppers. Can't eat them. You know, I even have an EpiPen right over there in my backpack.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me how you're saying that. I mean, I never even thought, because I don't even have bell peppers in my house, but I was thinking, what if I just go get one, hold it in my hand, why not, and then do a scan? I've noticed what Tino says, where you've got, like 285%. Wow, that's just got to be something really good, right? And then when you look over to the other side, you get I do a test. Excuse me, I do the harmonics, and then when it's done, you look at it again. It's like, yeah, you can't do the 200. I don't remember what it was, but I think it had something to do. It's energy, whatever. But yeah, the red arrow, and I just took it. Well, yeah, I mean, it made sense to me. The red arrow says, yeah, this might be good, but when you said like vegetable, bell pepper, well, bell pepper has a lot of good for your body, but not for my body.
Yeah. So that could explain that something is theoretically good for everybody, but not specifically for you.
Yes.
It's the idea of theoretically for everybody, it should make this effect, but how do you react to it? And maybe sometimes you say, oh, it's cool. And sometimes you say, no, not for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, bell
and
peppers
it can
have a
change.
lot.
Well, maybe not in your case if you are really allergic, but if you are not allergic, you make one test and it can say, okay, cool for me. And then a few weeks after that, you make another test. And at that point, it won't be good for you because the body is a moving process. So sometimes you need something and sometimes it's not so good for you. And if you do another recording, probably the percentages will change also because your different energetic states that serves to calculate it will also change a little bit. So it can change from one session to another. Okay, anything else? Siren, we have the manual in Turkish.
I just have
Great.
one more question.
Thank you.
So you have to tell us if the translation is okay or not.
Yeah, I will do that. Definitely,
sure.
I will let you know. And
Great.
we have also found some translation mistakes in German, and
Okay.
Gernot was going to create a ticket and send it to you.
Okay.
So we will do that.
What we can do, if you find only one or two little problems, you can just send an email. If you find more problems, what we can easily do is export an Excel file of all the text, and so you can just copy the corrections, and we can reintegrate the corrections. So if you prefer that, you can just ask us for an Excel file, and we can just send it. If you have just a handful of corrections, you can just send an email, and it's fine.
We have so far 4 or 5
Okay.
mistakes, but they come up on a lot of different pages. I mean, it's the same word that is translated incorrectly, but it comes up and it's instead of measurement, so a different word used in German, so it comes a lot.
Yeah, okay.
So,
It can happen when we translate very short words. Sometimes the context is lost, so that's why. If you send us an email for corrections, please send us the existing word and what it should be replaced by, so that we can find it easily.
Yeah, great. Thank
And
you.
same for all languages, of course.
And I have another question. Now, a friend of mine was really interested, and she lives in Luxembourg. And if she decides to buy a biosensor, then may I still share my invitation code? And if she buys in Luxembourg,
Yeah, sure.
then yeah, okay,
Yeah.
great. Then I will just share the invitation code and I will direct her directly to you, to the website.
Yes, sure. No problem.
Great. Okay, thank you.
As a distributor and the pro version that I have, it's telling me that it's going to expire in 14 days. Do I need an invitation code or something?
No, as a distributor, we are giving one pro version as a courtesy, so it will be renewed.
It will automatically renew?
Yeah, it's the same for all distributors. As soon as you start having an inventory and so on, you will get a free pro version for as long as you stay a distributor. So you are covered.
Okay, thank you.
Steven,
Well, I
can you
guess the
check if
reason
there
why I
are
was saying
questions
that,
in the chat?
because it might have been a bug. If I didn't have an invitation code, like especially when I update, I always say, well, no, I don't use an invitation code. But I was wondering if maybe that could be part of some of the bug problems we have.
What?
So when I update when I reload,
Yeah.
okay, to make sure I'm getting all the data, especially after I update from the either from the beta website for sure, or even from the install site. And then I update, and then before I even start the program, I go to settings and click update.
Oh, you don't
And
need that. It's automatically updating as soon as it's a new version. If the version number changes, it will reload everything anyway.
Okay. Well, I just was just making sure. And then I was wondering if maybe by me interjecting the start with no invitation code could be interjecting a bug that's the only reason why I brought that up.
No, but if your license comes from an invitation code, it will be time limited. And if your license is managed on our end, it will be auto-renewed. But anyway, you will get a license. You will get a free license with your distributor status.
One of the questions in the chat from Kat, so she's basically done a scan on a friend of hers as a client. She has now basically saved her report. Now that this girl has created an account of her own, can she transfer the report over from Kat's account to a different account?
Yes.
Yeah.
You mean Kat, you did it under your own name? You did the recording under your own name?
Yeah, so I did a recording under my own name, and
Yes,
then
no problem.
I sent her a link so that she could see it, but it said it had some weird things that it said it had a number for her to enter for her email, and I don't know if you remember this, Stephen, because I think you looked at it, and then it said put in forgot password, and she didn't like that, so she said, what's this all about?
Okay, so
And
if she had a number, it's because you created her account without an email.
I did. Yes, that's
Yes.
exactly what
And
well, I actually I didn't create an account. I just scanned her, and I guess it thought that she was probably me. So anyway, I have now entered her as a client,
Yeah.
but I haven't been able to figure out how to link her previous scan to her.
So I will show you, and I will offer you a little trip to Africa because we have it in Arabic.
Okay.
Okay. I don't read Arabic, I'm sorry. So when you click, everything is reversed. When you click on the top to save it, you have here the name. And if you click on it, you can just switch it. And at that point, you just change the user here and you save it, and it will be attributed to the new user. Let me switch to English because it's fun, but nobody understands. Okay, we are back left to right. And I'm sorry, but I don't have I was on a MePlay subscription, so I have to actually disconnect, log out and log in again. So let me log in again to show you.
Well, it's good for me to know that it's at least possible because I didn't want to spend any more time on it if I was trying to
It's
do something.
it's something quite common that you start a scan and you just forget to switch user and and you didn't create the customer and so on. So
yeah, okay, good.
yeah. So I will show you if you have a record. Okay, let's open a record and go back in English. Okay, in English, it's far clearer for everybody, I think, except for Arabic people, of course. So you click here to save it, and you see that you have the same two little arrows here on the right. So this is currently saving for me as a therapist, but if I click here, I can just choose any other contact or to search any other contact here, okay?
Oh, okay.
And if I click here, I am just reaffecting this recording to this new contact.
Okay.
So it's very easy. And now you save. If you want to save to the cloud, and you save the scan, and now this scan is attributed to this user, and you can share it with the contact and so on. Okay. So it's quite easy. It's quite easy. You just have to click on the title here, or if you click on save to the cloud, you have the same here. So you can either click on the title or to click on save to the cloud, and you just change the contact here on the top right.
Okay, and I had already saved it to the cloud, but
no problem. No problem. You can change the contact and save it again, and it will replace the former one.
All right, good to know. Thank you so much.
No problem. But it's an interesting point. When you create a contact, if you don't put an email, it's not possible to send him a reminder of his password, of course. So in this case, the email should be displayed when you create the contact. So when you create a contact, so you just choose a contact, you create a new contact, new contact test, test, oh, sorry, up. Okay, let's do it again. So, new contact test, test new. So let's say this one has an email. You just click on OK. On more info, you still have things that you can put here if you want, but you click on OK. And you see his login and password. And you can directly buy a subscription for the client here, okay? So let's do a new contact without sorry. Let's do a new contact without an email. So we switch user with the 2 arrows. We just create a new contact. And a new contact without email. And I just click OK. And at that point, of course, his login is just numbers and his password is just numbers. But there is no way to send him a reminder because we don't have his email. So you really have to copy it and to send it this information or to write it on a paper because this information is displayed for you until his first login. So while he didn't log in, you can see it, but as soon as he logs in, you cannot see his password because maybe he changed his password and it will be encrypted. So it's only available to you for new clients, but not clients that start using the app.
Okay, got it. Good to walk through. Thank you.
Yeah, but this is also new from the latest version that you have the login and password directly written in clear here. So it's again to make your life easier with your clients.
Is there a way to download your email list of all of your contacts so that maybe you could send them like a big email or anything like that? Like an export?
No, it's not possible yet. It could be, of course. So I think all of these functions will come when we start rolling out the social, all the social functions like being friends between pros or sending direct messages from within the app or getting notifications. All of this will come at some point this year so that we can manage it really like a social media, but just for all things biocoherence. And at that point, it would be possible to send a message to all of your clients, or if you do an event, for instance, or things like that.
There was one other question in the chat. Basically, Kat wants to know if the harmonic boosts are included in the meditation, and TJ basically said that they are dropped in from time to time in the guided meditation because they are very, very different. Like when you listen to the harmonic boost, it's very different to what you hear when you're going through the 21-day program. So
it's not so much different. It's just much lower, but it's the same basic frequencies. It's the same frequencies and the same rhythms. It just integrated in the program at a much lower volume. Okay. And maybe longer or maybe shorter because it's the voice duration that commands how much time we spend on a specific program. So it can be longer than the harmonic boost, but it's the same programs that the ones that are designed in the harmonic boost.
And also, Kat is still having very success with her kneecap. It hasn't moved out of place since she started using BioCoherence, so that's good to know.
Yeah. So this is a very incredible fix in one time and just a few seconds of frequencies. So it can happen. It's great. Okay, you know what? It's 5. We are right on time.
Does anybody have any questions?
Dan, you still have a last question? You still have your hand up?
Yes, I do. Like I'm not sure why this is happening. It's probably just me, but I'm doing tests and I open up the I do an analysis, a scan, and then I want to add to it. Like I'll physically go to the beach or I'll do something external away from, I'm not eating food, or I may do a practice, or I may take my shoes off and stand at the beach for, be at the beach for an hour, right? And so I come back and I want to add to that scan.
Yeah.
And I have the scan. I just go into priorities or progress or whatever to get to the screen. And then I click on the little Bluetooth icon, the sensor icon, right?
Yeah.
And it goes into prep and it starts recording.
Yeah.
And then I'm done, take my thumbs off. You know, I like to go 3 minutes or 180 seconds usually if I on that, right? Because I get a lot of quality checks. So I want to make sure I got a, so, and then when I open it up, or if I go to causal chain or something, it doesn't show, it only shows one part. It doesn't show, this may be the third time I've done a scan on this record. So obviously I'm not doing it the right way because I know that that's not a bug, but it's, you know, kind of disconcerting. So maybe maybe if you could show that right quick, I mean, or another session.
So when you have a recording many parts, you can go to progress, and you can see the different parts, of course.
Well, when I go to progress and look at it, it shows, in other words, if I started and had 180 seconds, and then I do a second scan, which is now should be 360 seconds, it'll show that in the bar. It'll actually show 181 to 360.
Yes.
Right. So I'm assuming that, okay, I'm looking at this current scan, but when I go to causal chain, or when I'm trying to, you know, when I'm trying to analyze something, this, you know, I'm using me as a client, but so then I go and it's like, well, that it only shows one part. Is the one part only the second scan? How do I get to show in progress? I mean, how does that show? Because you know, like when you go and you click on an icon and you bring up the information, and it'll say 1 part, 2 part, 3 parts, depending on how many scans you have. Is that maybe I'm not understanding that right?
Okay, so you have the parts on the top of the screen. Do you have the parts on the top of the screen? Because when you go, when you click on biomarkers, for instance, you have this navigator on top where you see the different parts.
Yes.
So this means you are currently viewing the whole recording. So the first and the second and the third part and so on. But if you click here, you will just see the last part, for instance.
Okay. So that's not what I'm seeing. And you went to the biomarkers, so maybe that's where I need to go, because I'm not seeing it.
It's the same if you go to causal chain, for instance. You can then use a subset of your recording, which is only this part or only this part and so on. So it should be working like that. If it's not, maybe we have to check together on your screen to see if something particularly is happening, or I don't know what. But in principle, you should be able to navigate from part to part just by clicking on the top part like that.
Yeah, and I was even trying to show that to Angel yesterday on his scans, but it just wasn't working for me. And it's probably just me, but yeah, maybe I can email you for a time when we can just, you and me, you know, look at it one-on-one.
We can check that, and maybe there is a bug, although it's still possible, especially because you are always on the latest cutting edge development version, so beta version.
Yes.
So it might still have more bugs than the install one, of course.
Thank you.
Okay, I will stop the recording.
Wait,
okay?
Perhaps there's going to be something amazing first.
Thanks. What?
No.
Unless someone. Okay, I'll stop that.